Hey, Thomas.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I was just busy doing something, but don't worry, it's not a problem. How can I help?
I'm here at the airport. Thanks for great meetings this week, and I was just giving some thought to our conversations, and I think you really need to get out and about and talk to businesses in the UK. We need to find out what they're thinking about electrification, about decarbonization, and you really need to do it. So you need to do it now.
Yeah, I can. Don't have a car, but I think I can probably sort something out. I think a couple of days. Is that all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll get back to you in a couple of days and see what I come up with.
All right, cool.
All right. Cheers, Jane. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
I've only got a few days to get this information for Jane. I better get a move on. Find something a bit faster too. I've got a friend called Ken Stewart who knows all about vehicles. I'm sure he's going to be able to help me out. It's only 12 miles to his office, which is right next to the UK's largest and busiest port in Felixstowe. His company, RTJ Trailers, are a national trailer recovery and maintenance service in the haulage industry. I bet Ken will have some views on fleet electrification. He might even have a decent car for me to borrow too.
We've got 16 service vans, so we call them it's a mobile workshop. So they're fully kitted up with air compressors, generators, spare parts, hand tools, everything that the engineers need. So some of them won't leave a mile radius of the depot here and will do a very small amount of mileage. Others will be out all day covering 100, 150, sometimes 200 miles in a day, ascending different sites all around the country.
Have you got any electric vehicles at the moment?
No commercial electric vehicles, and we've got sort of 3 hybrid cars in the fleet that are used by staff. We're keen to move forward to an electric vehicle fleet, but I'm not sure how quickly we're going to be able to make that transition. At the moment, I haven't found a viable electric vehicle solution. So we know on a diesel engine how much we can put into the back of one of those vans. On looking at the specs of the current electric vans available in the market, they're around 500 kilos heavier, which then reduces the amount that we can put in the back of the van and then has an impact on the work that we can do. The first part of our plan was when we renovated this building last year. We've put in 4 charging points to future-proof our business so that we'd be a bit ahead of the curve.
Can you show me the charge points?
Sure.
What does the future look like for you? Can you see yourself running a completely electric fleet?
That might be quite a long time away, but I think in the next 10 years we'd be looking to have at least a third to a half of the fleet running as electric vehicles.
Have you thought about monetising these charging stations?
I didn't know that was possible, so I wouldn't know how we would do that.
Imagine how you could open these up to the public and allow them to tap into your electricity supply and obviously charge them a small premium for doing so. Cheeky question, Ken. I came here on a scooter. Is there any chance I can borrow one of these cars?
We can't have any of these, but you could borrow that.
Ken's business is a great example of someone who wants to transition to electric vehicles, but doesn't really know how or when to do so. I'm going to travel to North Wales to speak to some other businesses to find out what they're thinking.
I know a couple of interesting businesses up there who I suspect have some fleet management issues. But on the way, I'm going to drop into the wonderful city of Liverpool, a good example of a densely populated city that isn't yet prepared for what's to come.
Here in central Liverpool, like many other towns and cities, lots of people live in flats and apartments. If your organisation has a workforce that parks at home but doesn't have a dedicated off-street parking space, you're going to run into some problems. You're not going to know where they're going to charge, how much they're going to pay for that charge, and how to keep control over that process.
Now on to Flintshire to visit crime prevention services. They supply and maintain security systems around the country and respond to emergency call-outs without notice. Their financial director, Sam Carroll, has some concerns about moving away from petrol and diesel engines and has agreed to tell me more about them.
We are eager to go towards the electric vehicles. I'm struggling with the problems that we're going to come up against with the transition. We are a nationwide company and we deal with life-saving systems in the fire and security industry. We have to be at that site 4 hours from the time that that customer phoned. Therefore, we might be sending an engineer 2-3 hours out of his way unexpectedly after maybe he's already worked 6 hours. So my worry would then be, have they got a charge? Can they go? Are they going to have to stop in services? Where's the nearest services that they can get a charge point?
So what about rural sites then? Do you have lots of clients that are out in the sticks?
We obviously do Scotland, Wales, there's lots and lots of rural areas. The remote locations are testing anyway when we're just on the normal fuel cars. It might take them on a 4-hour round trip where, you know, that's not actually cost effective in itself. And to add the electrical cars to it, I just think, is that going to create more issues and cost us more money? You know, a lot of our engineers live far away, they're not based at the head office, they actually base themselves at home. So my concern is, how much do they need to tell us? Have they got the facility for us to put a charge point? Are they staying with their parents? Are they going to move house next month? The electricity bills, who pays for them? How do we know that they're not charging everyone on the street on their charge point? There's all these issues which, you know, I'd worry that we'd be losing control of the management of our team.
Sam highlighted some really interesting points about managing a national fleet and response times. I think she's going to need much more information though if she wants to make that transition to electric vehicles as smooth as possible.
Finally, onto the beautiful mountains of North Wales where Clogau Gold are based. Clogau is a very successful international jewellery brand. In the UK, they have 15 of their own stores and more than 300 other stockists. They have regional sales reps, company cars and a strong desire to reduce their carbon footprint. Ben Roberts, Clogau's owner and managing director, wants to transition to electric vehicles as part of their own sustainability journey. I'm going to meet him in one of their stores.
One of our mantras for next year, I would say, would be a focus on sustainability. So we're going for a zero carbon footprint, but we'll probably end up negative. We're investing in forests, we're investing in recyclable packaging.
And the vehicles themselves, I assume you have a fleet of cars or sales reps that travel around. Are they electric at the moment?
Some are electric, some are hybrids, and some are just normal fuel cars. But the idea is to push everybody onto that. First we'll go hybrid, and then we'll go all electric, and that will probably be within the next 5 years.
Your sales reps, when they're on the road, how are they getting to each client's site? Do they have any problems?
The sales guys are basically positioned or situated all around the country. Generally, I notice that they're planning their routes around basically time, but if you were driving at, say, a hybrid or an all-electric car, I think it would be a very different world. You'd have to plan to charge at each route. And you also get that massive range anxiety issue, don't you? Where you're going, I wonder if I can make it. The car doesn't tell you quite the truth about how far you can make it. And yeah, you end up planning your whole day around charging that car.
So on that transition journey, how do you think you're going to manage the process from where you are today to where you might be in the future?
I suppose to some degree it'll happen naturally, but I suppose in reality I just don't know. Weirdly, I've noticed that a lot of people within the business who don't benefit from company cars have actually made that step already, moving to hybrids themselves, and they end up on the chargers most days when I'm waiting to use it as well. I actually get the sneaky suspicion that some of those guys don't have chargers at home and they're just using the one at work. We don't mind. I suppose in the future we'll probably have to tackle that as it becomes more of a scarce resource.
When your staff are charging their vehicles on site, do you think there's a taxation issue there?
Yeah, data about consumption and usage I think will probably not only be interesting from my point of view, from an employer, but also from a governmental point of view, I think, in terms of passing on benefit in kind. If people are filling up their cars or charging their cars at work on my expense, then I guess I need to know about that, and also they need to know about that because everything's taxable, right?
I think Ben's thoughts over employee benefits and taxation are really, really crucial for every business. He's going to need much more control over the charging process in the future. I've met 3 different companies at different stages of the fleet electrification process. They all have common problems, which are actually universal. They all need transparency, oversight, and better control over their infrastructure. Only then will they achieve the cost benefits and carbon reduction that they need. Well, at least now I've got a better idea of the problems that people have and how they feel about them. I think it's about time I gave Jane a call.